Hey there, fellow hobbyists. My name is Mark, family man and father of 3. I'm going to be recording some short videos going through some suggestions on how to maximize your hobby time. I've broken these videos down into sections to help visualize certain elements for you. The first video I'm going to go over is all about paints and painting for your miniatures. Which ones are the best to get the fastest painting time without reducing quality. I will also go through briefly some other options if you already have a large collection of paints and just don't want to reinvest in something. Let's get started. Right then, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about different types of paints and which ones I find help with regards to speed of painting, but also try and maintain that quality of your miniature. It's great to be able to paint a miniature really quick, especially when you've got an army of a huge number. Maybe like me, you go out, you go to the shop, you look at a large range of miniatures, you go, yeah, definitely I want that one, that one, that one. You come home with 30 models, you base them, you glue them all together, you get all the poses brilliant, you've cleaned them all out, you start painting, you paint the first 10 brilliantly, you're happy with it, and then you look at it and you think, oh my goodness, it's taken me about 2-3 weeks, if not a month, to get these 10 done. Now I've got another sort of like 20 to do. When am I going to be able to game with them? When am I going to be able to put them on the shelf and have a look at them? So over the years, what I've found is that this system has helped with regards speed of painting, but also kind of maintain a semi quality with regards how the miniature looks on the gaming table or on my display cabinet. It's not obviously going to be amazing looking model. It's not going to be something you're going to want to enter a competition with, unless obviously you want to spend that little bit of extra time on that model. But either way, it does help considerably with regard to speed. Now, what I tend to use nowadays is the foundry paints. When I was younger, I started with the Games Workshop paints, and I would use single paints, etc. But this, and I will talk to you about it a bit later with regards guides, helps considerably. Now, I tend to paint straight from the pot. Again, this is a speed issue. On occasion, I will mix colours on a palette if it's something really particular I need, but the mixing or the watering down of a paint is, yes, a good thing to do with regards maintaining that quality and that crispness of the miniature, but it doesn't really help when I'm trying to paint 30 miniatures and I've only got, say for example, an hour in the evening after putting the kids to bed. So painting from the pot does help, as does this 3-pot system, meaning I don't have to mix the paints, and it's kind of like a little bit of a cheat system if you like. It comes in light, medium and dark, so you start with a shade colour and then you add a layer of the mid-range, and then you do your highlights with a light. Now initially this is quite an expensive system to invest in, because obviously you're buying 3 pots. However, bearing in mind these pots are quite large, I think they're 18 mil, so they tend to last quite a long time. You tend to find that you run out of the shade more than you do the light, so you can actually purchase the individual pots if you need to. And I do find it's a really good system. Now later on I also invested in washes, because I found that helps sort of like increase the detail alongside this system. So what I tend to do is I'll do the shade of the colour, then I'll do a little bit of a wash, and I bought these large washes from any hobby store is good. This is actually an ink. Slightly watered down, has the same potential effect as a wash, and because I tend to get through quite a lot of wash, this is a cost-effective method for me. Then I move on to the mid-range and then the highlights. So this is the way I tend to paint. I'll do sort of like layers at a time. So I'll do all the base coats on a particular miniature, then I'll do some washes, and then I'll start using the mid-range and the detail. I'll talk more about painting techniques in later videos, such as batch painting and a variety of other sort of like methods, again to increase sort of like your production rate versus time. However, I do understand not everyone wants to heavily invest again in a new set of paints like I did. So what initially I used to do was I used to have a wide range of sort of like Citadel paints, if you like, and then what I try and do is I try and marry them up in the same sort of fashion. So I've got obviously my darker shade, my mid-range, and then my highlights. And then what I would do again is I'd take a Games Workshop sort of like wash, and I'd kind of like mix it, and then here in this instance I've got same sort of thing. I've got like a green with base, wash, your mid-range, and then your highlights. You can generally take some of the colours like that and kind of like fit it in the same sort of like setting. So you've got your shade, your mid-range, and sort of like your highlights. Now if you want to as well, what I tend to do sometimes is I'll tend to mix a particular colour straight in the pot, especially if I'm going to use it a lot. I think one of the colours I did that was with when I was highlighting orc skin. Orc skin had like the final highlight had a tinge of sort of like yellow in, and I couldn't really find a Games Workshop colour that kind of like suited that. So I took a camo green, mixed it 50-50 with a sunburst yellow, and that made sort of like the orc skin, and I put that into an old pot, if you like, and did that. Okay, so these are just some tips here with regards painting. Hey there, I hope watching this video has been of some use to you. These are only my experiences over the years and more hints and tips rather than a how-to guide. I would love to hear what you think about them, maybe even offer some suggestions for future videos if you think so. I hope to see you all soon. Take care, thank you, bye.